I want to start with a confession that might sound strange coming from someone who talks about calm. I don't always feel calm. Sometimes I feel furious. Sometimes I feel grief so heavy it makes my body slow down. Sometimes I feel that particular kind of fear that doesn't shout, it just tightens everything. And sometimes, if I'm being honest, I feel the temptation to harden, to close, to stop caring so it won't hurt so much. So when I talk about calm, I'm not describing a personality trait. I'm describing a practice, a choice, a way of holding your inner world so you can stay aligned with your values when the world is trying to pull you into something smaller. And that's why I want to say this clearly, because a lot of people are confused about it right now. Calm is not compliance. Calm is not passivity. Calm is not silence. Calm is not pretending everything is fine. Calm is not spiritual bypassing. Calm is not good vibes only. Calm is not smiling politely while harm spreads. Calm, the way I'm using the word, is something else. Calm is the capacity to stay connected to your humanity while you face what's real. Calm is the ability to choose your next action without being hijacked by fear. Calm is how you keep your heart from becoming a weapon. In moments like this, people often think there are only two options. Option one is to become numb, to disengage, to retreat into private life and hope the storm passes. Option two is to become constantly activated, to live on outrage, to keep your nervous system in fight mode, because it feels like the only way to stay awake. And I understand why people choose either one to do, because numbness is a kind of anesthesia and outrage is a kind of fuel. But both of those options have a cost. Numbness slowly disconnects you from your values. You stop feeling what matters, and eventually you stop moving. Outrage can keep you moving, but it burns the body, it narrows the mind, it trains you to see people as enemies first, and it makes it harder to think clearly, organize effectively, or love anyone who isn't already on your side. So I want to offer a third path, a path that is neither numb nor constantly inflamed, a path that lets you stay awake without becoming cruel. That path is regulation. Now let's define what I mean by regulation, because people sometimes hear the word and think it means calm down like a scolding parent. It's not what I mean. Regulation means your nervous system can move through stress without staying stuck there. Regulation means you can feel anger without becoming it. Regulation means you can feel fear without letting fear do your thinking for you. Regulation means you can be heartbroken and still choose dignity. And this is where regulation becomes resistance, because authoritarian movements don't only depend on laws or leaders or slogans. They depend on bodies that are easy to hijack. They depend on people who are exhausted, scared, and reactive. They depend on nervous systems that have been trained to seek relief through certainty, domination, scapegoating, and dehumanization. If you want to understand what's happening culturally, don't only listen to the words. Watch the physiology. Watch what happens to people when they're triggered. Watch how quickly nuance disappears. Watch how fast empathy collapses. Watch how easy it is to becomes to justify cruelty once someone is labeled as less than human. This is a nervous system story, and that's why your calm matters. Not because calm is the goal, but because calm is what keeps you free. Freedom is not only political, freedom is also internal. Freedom is having a choice point. Freedom is being able to feel a surge and still decide who you want to be. Freedom is being able to act from values instead of impulse. So when someone says, if you're calm, you must not care, I want you to hear this. Calm is not a lack of care. Calm is what allows care to become action instead of collapse. And when someone says, if you're calm, you're being compliant, I want you to hear this too. There's a huge difference between being calm and being quiet. There's a difference between being regulated and being obedient. There's a difference between being peaceful and being passive. In spiritual traditions, real peace has teeth. Real peace can say no. Real peace can hold a boundary. Real peace can protect the vulnerable. Real peace can refuse to participate in dehumanization, even when it would feel satisfying. Let me name a hard truth. A lot of people are tempted right now to meet cruelty with cruelty, to fight dehumanization with a new kind of dehumanization, to respond to hatred by letting hatred become righteous. And I understand the temptation. When you become harmed, when you've watched people you love be targeted, When you've watched lies become policy and cruelty become entertainment, it is very natural to want to strike back. But if your resistance destroys your capacity for empathy, it's not resistance anymore. It's infection. You don't have to like everyone. You don't have to be soft. You don't have to tolerate harm, but you do have to protect your own humanity, because one of the only things in this world that cannot be replaced once you trade it away. So what does regulation look like in real life? Not in theory, but in this moment. It looks like noticing when your body starts to tighten. It looks like recognizing the early signs that your nervous system is being pulled into fight mode. It looks like remembering that being activated feels like clarity, but often doesn't. It looks like choosing a response that aligns with your values, even when your body is screaming for a simpler story. And I want to offer you a simple way to practice this week without turning this into a guided exercise. Here's the question. When you feel yourself getting pulled into rage, doom, or shutdown, ask, what would be the most dignified next move right now? Not the most satisfying, not the most punishing, not the most performative, the most dignified. Dignity is a spiritual technology. Dignity keeps you from becoming what you oppose. Dignity keeps you from abandoning yourself. Dignity keeps you oriented toward the world you actually want. Sometimes the most dignified next move is resting because your body is overdrawn. Sometimes it's speaking up because silence would be self-betrayal. Sometimes it's making a phone call, donating, showing up, checking on someone who's vulnerable, writing something honest, taking a practical step. Sometimes it's turning off the feed and going outside so you can come back sane. This is what I mean when I say calm is a form of resistance. Calm is how you keep your mind from being colonized. Calm is how you keep your heart from being trained into contempt. Calm is how you keep access to nuance, compassion, and effective action. And I want to speak directly to the people who feel guilty for not being able to stay outraged all day. If you cannot live in a permanent state of activation, that does not make you weak. It might mean your system is wise. It might mean you're meant to play a long game, because movements need people who can still think. Movements need people who can still love. Movements need people who can still build. So here's the invitation for this week. Stay awake, but don't become poisoned. Stay engaged, but don't become consumed. Stay clear, but don't become cruel. And if you need one line to carry with you, let it be this. Calm is not compliance. Calm is my freedom. I'm glad you're here, and if this helped, share it with someone who's been trying to stay human without burning out. And if you want more of this, you can follow along here. And until next time, protect your nervous system like it's sacred, because it is. And protect your humanity like it's your responsibility, because it is. Until later, love, peace, and release.